Understanding churn. Listen, here's the thing. If you're going to grow your sales, if you're going to increase revenue, you need to do three things. You need to acquire new clients, you need to sell more to your existing clients, and you need to raise your prices. Those are the only three things, or some combination, that begins the process of growing your revenue. That's how you do it. But here's the thing. If you have churn, if you're losing clients, then what you're doing is you're pouring water into a bucket that has holes in it, because the churn is the first problem that you have when you're trying to grow a company. And let me give you one way to think of this. If you have a goal of $5 million in net new revenue in your territory and you lose $5 million, that very first $5 million gets you back to the zero mark. So you can't afford to churn clients if you're trying to grow, because what you're trying to do is add clients, not replace clients, and that process is terribly difficult. So I've got a few ideas for you about why clients churn based on a lot of experience having clients churn personally and professionally, and I think that this matters a great deal for most of us when we think about the environment we're in. So let me start with number one, neglect. You know that client that you've waited so long to call that now it feels weird to call them? You're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say. It's been so long. It feels weird now. And what happens is you let that feeling cause this fear or this discomfort of making that call. And then you wait even longer to make that call. And it only gets weirder and more difficult. So the best thing you have to do is right now, you pick up the phone, you make that call, and you break through that fear, and you go ahead and you say, listen, it's been way too long and it's 100% my fault and I want to correct this. How fast can we get a meeting on the calendar so I can come out and see you? Just deal with it directly. Take responsibility for the neglect, because it is your responsibility, and do that so you prevent those people from churning out right now in your pipeline, or in your client list. The second thing, complacency. Complacency will kill you. It's not that you're not allowed to have issues. It's not that you're not allowed to have service challenges. It's not that there aren't going to be problems in the relationship over time, because it's impossible for there not to be. You're in business, your client is in business, and business is messy. So there's no way that you can be perfect. There's no way that they're perfect with their clients. But it's how you respond to that. So complacency means I'm really going to be apathetic. I'm not going to do anything about these unresolved issues. I'm going to let you suffer with that. And what happens, remember when you won your dream client? Remember how grateful you were that your competitor had created so much dissatisfaction that you literally walked out of that meeting and you called your sales manager and you were like, we are going to win this one. They're totally dissatisfied. They've got major service problems. They haven't talked to their rep in 2 months. They don't even know who they're supposed to be working with. You're like, yes, this is an easy win. Right now, one of your competitors is looking at one of your clients and they're saying, you're not going to believe how dissatisfied their clients are. We're easily going to take this one. Complacency will kill you. And then I want to tell you the one that's a big one for many of us right now, and it's a lack of new value. So your clients now live in a world of accelerating, continuous, disruptive change. It's very hard for them to do business the same way and produce the same results, because everything in our world is changing. We've got Uber, we've got Airbnb, we've got Amazon, we've got Netflix, we've got the internet. All these changes are dramatic and they're changing the way people do business. What you have to do is create new value, because the lack of new value, the lack of addressing those threats, of giving them a better strategy, of helping them see around corners and deliver a better future, that's going to cause you to churn probably as much as neglect or complacency will now. It's not that you're not doing a good job based on the status quo where you found your dream client 3 years ago. It's based on you doing a bad job based on where they are now. And now they need you to give them something different. So it's the continuing quarter after quarter new value, year after year new value, constantly leveling them up so that they can be more competitive. But I want to share with you what the real cause of churn is. The real cause of churn is a lack of caring on your part. Because if you cared, you wouldn't neglect your client. And if you cared, you wouldn't be complacent. You wouldn't necessarily deal with the transactions when it comes to their problems, but you would own the outcomes and you'd do something about that. And if you cared and if you were a partner, you'd be worried about how to create new value. And that will do more than anything else to stop the churn. You have to care. You have to go first. You have to intervene and do something different if you don't want to churn. I'm Anthony Iannarino. You can find me at thesalesblog.com. You found me here, youtube.com/Iannarino. You can also find me on Amazon.com, where my new book, The Lost Art of Closing, has just been released. Pick that up, or pick up the old book, The Only Sales Guide You'll Ever Need. And if you don't do any of those things, hit the subscribe button. This is every day.